Most people use free mocap tools for a few seconds of safe pantomime, but not me. I stepped in with my 5-year Android, grabbed the deadliest mob I own, and I tried to recreate the most crippled disgrace of a warrior you will ever see. We'll also try not to destroy my furniture in the process. I also recreated a full Avril Lavigne complicated clip performance using QuickMagic for the body motion capture and Unreal's facial motion capture to bring it all together, because why not? But if you are more dark-minded like me, you can also create something like this. Today we are stress testing QuickMagic in ways that never meant to be used, free versus paid, to see just how broken or how powerful this tool really is. With that said, let's start this now. First, go to QuickMagic website and create a free account with your email and password. If you use the link in the description below, it helps support the channel and you will also receive 70 coins automatically added to your account after registration. That's a bonus credit you can start using right away. But before you click, make sure you watch the whole video first and decide it for yourself. So after that, under AI mocap, just drag and drop your video of yourself or some clip of a video. In the case of free users, the maximum length is 30 seconds and 60 for the paid version, in the case of monthly subscribers. But if you change it to yearly, then this will become a whole 2 minutes. Now I import my footage, then I can select various rigs. If you are on free version, you can only use the boy and the girl rigs, which are both the same rigs, just different meshes. As always in the case of paid services, add-ons, plugins, extensions, in the end it really comes down to time saving. So you just have to decide, does it worth paying for your time or not, since you can do the same exact thing free, but with some extra effort. Now I'm going to start with the premium stuff, so even though it's beta, I don't care and going straight for the Unreal 5.6 skeleton, because that's what we are here for, testing. Now let's hit next. You can name the take, you can change it from full body to only upper body or without hands. You can change the frame rate now, that's a new feature, but what can be useful is this option. It does what it says, so it's going to pose the first keyframe according to this setup. I'm going to use the others as well in a bit, but first let's use this on the original pose. As you can see, I went with 59 seconds to maximize it. Actually, it's a bit more, but I was curious if it would round it up to 60 or not, but it didn't. So that's a way to cheat with seconds, but always cut any unnecessary footage. You don't want to waste credits on dead seconds, since every second equals 1 credit. Let's hit generate and wait till it finishes. It will take a few minutes. Once that's done, we can open it and preview it. And we can see, even though it's beta, it's quite right. However, we can now already see an issue with these jammed finger movements here, but somewhere around the footage, it get it right. But if you look closely, there is another issue here, which is related to the hand placement. In my original footage up there, you can see that I'm holding onto something, to a camera stick, which does not moving on the floor, meaning my hand placement should be in one place at all time. Instead here, in the mannequin, we can see her hands are moving slightly left and right. I would say yes, that's a hard movement for an AI to identify. So I would not rant about this, but I also not back it up, since that's definitely an issue in the animation. And since I want the character to actually hold on to the microphone stand, that's going to be a bit unpleasant to set it up, to say the least, but more on that in another video. In the 2D refinement, we can manipulate the movement of the joints and fix flaws, and this particular issue would be easily solvable with an IK-FK switch on the arms. But unfortunately, it's only available on the legs, which is a bummer. But everything is solvable inside Blender and Unreal, so let's download it and let's move on. Let's see another rig with a different setup, same footage. Let's use the Mixamo now. Mixamo rig has another feature, which includes this anti-interpenetration. As you can see, it's basically prevent clipping issues in a cost of accuracy. Let's try this. And let's compare it side by side. We can already see the clipping indeed solved at the arms. However, the hand placements are now way off, so the description was pretty spot on, and the fingers might be better slightly. It's a matter of choice, but I would say it's easier to solve the EU rig issues. Now let's do some more variants, now with my Super Saiyan moves. Let's do a simple original Mixamo without anti-interpenetration, another Mixamo with T-pose, another one with an A-pose again. Now let's see these classics. That actually came out really good. There are some weird hip movements there. Looking good, and I see some potential for some good old mama jokes here. I will do another 5.61 and use an A pose for the first frame. And do a few more. Let's see that kick. Looking wild, but easily fixable. That step motion also not that bad. Some sweep motion. some different spellcasting. Let me show you, for example, that sometimes the video itself that is the problem. So if I do this kick on the Mixamo rig, you can see that the kneecap breaking move is still there. So it's not always the issue of the platform, but more like the source video itself. Okay, now in Blender, if you would simply import one of them, you can see it's working as it should. Now I imported all of them and placed them in different folders, and they are already looking cool. Now let me just make some space here for them. And I'm going to hide the Unreal 6 version since they are a bit different because of the root motion that is baked to the skeleton. If I would move them, they would just simply snap back to the origin. Now if I scrap to the timeline, I can see they are looking awesome. So it was literally done under minutes, which is amazing. If you want to change something, for example at this mocap, which went according to my performance, but I'm not sure why I would want it to shoot up the magic spell to the sky here, we can easily fix that. So in the dope shade, make sure this is ticked in. Detect the flawed bone, in this case the upper arm. Let's find a good spot to transition. About here. Delete all this. Make it a bit lower so YouTube will not block this video. Maybe delete these as well. Switch the hand position. Now it's looking way cooler. Now let's see an Unreal 5.6 version and take a look at this kick first. You can see all the LODs came with the FBX, we only need the highest one. Let's see the stab. We can see the fingers were actually captured quite good, so it's not always jammed. Now let's see some actual retargeting. Okay, now I organized these examples in folders. An EU 5.6 animation, a Mixamo T pose, a Mixamo A pose, and an original one. Let's start with the EU 5.6 version. For retargeting, as usually we will use Rococo. Since my character is based on the 5.6 skeleton of Unreal, it's going to be perfect match, even though the mocap rig is 5.6. And as you can see, the A pose is only applied to the first frame of the animation and not the rest pose. The rest pose is always the built-in rest pose of the given skeleton type. Okay, let's place mine into rest pose as well and retarget it with scale on. And we can see it's working as it should. Now let me quickly show you how easy it is to fix that floppy kneecap. Find the problematic bone which starts from the thigh, and where it starts shifting, delete all this. In the calf bone, I delete all this, find the peak of the motion, and I will extend the leg and key it. The closer this key is to the others, the faster will be the motion. If I place it back here, it's going to be slower. I can even delete some more, and we can better see that slow movement. If I place it back here, we can see it has a nice force to the kick now. I just changed one last bone, the feet, since that flops around as well. Now that's looking way better. And we can even see how happy she is that she kicked someone straight into the lungs. Let's see the Mixamo T pose. You probably already know what will happen, but just in case I will show you. So as you would guess, it totally jammed because my character's rest pose is on A pose and not T pose. And this would happen with the original one as well. Now let's see the A pose, but with the current pose, without scale. Now this is way better, but still not perfect match. But again, easily fixable. I just concentrate a random weapon to her hand, and there you go. Not great, not terrible. Let's see this in Unreal. Here I have the Raven character with the custom Unreal skeleton and Avril as a metahuman. I will import the untouched kick, which was downloaded from QuickMagic. Here you can see I can select the original mannequin, tick in animation. If this up here gives you a pipeline warning, do not select the skeleton, just import the whole FBX on its own. But we don't have that here, so we can just import it. We can clear these warnings, these are not important. And we can see it's working fine. I can now retarget it to my metahuman. You can see it perfectly matches. Export it. Now let's retarget it to my custom one. I add the level sequence for demonstration, add the two actors. I'm going to disable these with this icon, And let's add the animation to the body. And it's working flawlessly. It's that easy. I do the same on my Raven character. Working perfectly. Now let's see the Mixamo one. Obviously, we don't select any skeleton here and import the whole FBX as is. Looking cool. Let's retarget this animation to both rigs. Test them. And now in both cases, it's looking good. Fingers are looking good as well. And for every other Mixamo animation that we did or will do on QuickMagic, now we can use this skeleton and tick in import only animation, and it will work flawlessly every time. Now let's see the free version. So this is from my free account and the free boy FBX is used. I was fortunate enough to find a good quality Deadpool dance, since it's really hard to find a video which is not a TikTok version of this, which is cut to 700 different clips sewed together with intense shaking, zooms and jumping words. So this is really a treasure. It captured it quite good. The one thing we can see that there is not much of a finger movement going on here. So that's kind of a bummer. Now for retargeting, we need a fixed skeleton as well. So the best middle ground is the Mixamo skeleton, which is universal in all cases. So we just need to go to Mixamo website and look for the T-pose in the animation. We need the original Mixamo character. Do not use any other character from here. And simply just download it. Import the Mixamo one to Blender. When you import the free FBX, check in this. This will ensure that the bones orientation will look like normal skeletons instead of the rotated Unreal ones. If I check this, you can see it's working exactly as it should. But this rig is kind of weird. The origin, or I should say the root of the skeleton, is in the middle of the body instead of the ground. And you can see, just like at the Unreal skeleton, the root motion is baked to the skeleton. So we need to get that root motion to the Mixamo rig somehow. So now this is a really important part. If you open Rococo, there is a version number here, which is currently fully up to date for me. 1.4.3. Here you can see the Blender version, which also up to date, so I'm in the 4.5 version of Blender, but this combination will not work. I tried to check the patch notes, what they changed, but there is nothing mentioned there. Something has been probably messed up in the background. Even the 1.4.2 will not work. What we will need is this version, 1.4.1. But unfortunately, as you can see, it's not compatible with Blender 4.5. So save this project now. In Blender 4.4, the rig would just stuck in one frame after retargeting. So that's not good as well. We have to go back one more to Blender 4.3. So I open up this same project with the Blender 4.3 version. We can see the warning here if we started the project in our 4.5. But once we save it, it will disappear. And you can see the installed version here for me is 1.4.1. So now we can start the retargeting. Let's duplicate the collection of the boy FBX and hide it for now. Select both rigs, place them in rest pose. Once you set it up the bones correctly, you have to remove these. Put it in the rest pose, auto scale and hit retarget. Now you can see it's working, but the root motion on both rigs has been disappeared. But that's why we duplicated the boy FBX. You can see this one still has it. So now we will transfer this to the Mixamo one. But we can't just copy it in the dope sheet, we need to create a root bone. For that, go to edit mode, go to wireframe and duplicate the pelvis bone. Shift S, cursor to world origin, then selection to cursor. Now this will be our root bone. Go here, rename the bone something like root Mixamo or root anything, untick deform, get the pelvis and parent it to the root bone. Go to pose mode, select the root bone, make sure it can move the whole rig, and go ahead and add the child of constraint. And select the boy FBX with root motion as target. No bones need to be selected. And now we can see it's working flawlessly. But we can't bring that constraint to a game engine or anywhere. So we just solved this temporarily. We need a definitive solution. For that, go to pose mode, go here under pose, look for animation, and find bake action. Make sure the right animation length is set. Untick this and tick in visual keying and clear constraints. Make sure this one is on pause and we can hit OK. It's going to take a while. If it's done, you can see the constraint disappeared. And if I hit play, you can see it's working perfectly. And now the whole root motion is baked to that bone. And now if you want to, you can just simply retarget this to a simple T-posed Mixamo rig without a root bone if that bothers you. You don't need to select anything for the root bone, it's just going to work. And there you have it. And from here, you can just retarget this animation to any of your rigs. Let's export this now. And in Unreal, if I now try to select the previous mixamo rig we used, you can see it gives that pipeline issue. So as I said, in cases like this, just import the whole FBX as is. So it will be a whole separate rig. And now you can just simply retarget it to Unreal 5 Skeleton or MetaHumans. And you can see it's working. Let me show you the mixamo rig with the root bone as well. So here you can see the difference. So the root boned one is way more accurate, but it's really is up to you what you want to use. Now I will retarget this root boned one to my custom one and export it out like so. Import it into Blender and retarget it in rest pose. And now she also received that NSYNC wipe. Now for the last quick tip, if you want to fix the animations in Unreal, for example on the MetaHuman, right click on the body and look for Bake to Control Rig. The control rig probably will not be visible at first, you have to untick this, then you can find it now. Select it and bake it. Now we can see all the movement is on the control rig and now we can fix it easily, just like in Blender. In the end, I would say it's totally up to you if you go free or paid. Paid obviously saves you a ton of time in the long run, but there is obviously nothing wrong with the free version as well, since as you saw, it can be used totally fine as well. But be prepared, whatever you go free or paid, it will still need some manual refinements for perfect results. But even Rococo with its $1,000 worth of suits still requires refinements, so there's that. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.